Okay, and welcome. So in this video, what I'm going to be doing is just showing you how to upgrade CentOS 6 server or VM from MySQL 5.1 to MySQL 8. Now, of course, you can't safely go straight from 5.1 to 8 because you have to go in, you're supposed to do an intermediate jump, but obviously, if you don't have a database which is too big, then it's easier to just do the jump straight away. But if you've got like a huge database, then because MySQLDump can be a bit slow, then you're better off using the upgrade option, because the upgrade option will actually be a lot faster than MySQLDump. Right. So what I've done is I've set up some sites, and they should come up with. They should all come up with an error at the moment because I haven't, because the virtual machine is not up yet. So I'm just going to leave them there till they time out. So essentially, yeah, so these are the three sites. What I've done is I've set them up in a virtual machine. So now I'm just going to start that virtual machine up. So this is just the console of it booting. So once it's booted, I don't actually need to do anything in here. But I'm just going to wait for it to start. Right. So now the services should be up. So if I go back, yeah, I forgot this because I'm using Chromium. It keeps defaulting to HTTPS, which is kind of annoying. So anyway, that's the. So I just got to. Because of course when you're testing you don't care about HTTPS, it's a waste of time, but of course Google have decided to brainwash their programmers and to tell them that it's important even when you're testing a website on your laptop, it must be HTTPS. I don't know who would ever come up with that idea. So if we go into each one, then all we want to do is just log in. I keep forgetting, I haven't turned on the, what do you call it? The fancy URLs. I'm sure it saved it, but anyway. So the reason why I'm logging in is just to show you that, if we go to, yeah, see, so notice in this report, it says that the database system version is 5.1.73. And of course, they're running Drupal 7. And of course, if you look it up on their website, they'll tell you it needs MySQL 5.5. So of course, if they try and tell you that, that's not true. It can run on 5.1. But they've been told to always make it out as if you need the latest MySQL. So the reason I'm going through these is just to show that they're working on the old version of MySQL. Right, so you see that works. Yeah, see, of course they're just going to complain saying you've got to upgrade. That's all they seem to care about. So if we, again, database is 5.1.73 and we're using PHP 7.2, and this is the Joomla 3.10. So we know for sure that works with MySQL 5.1 no matter what they tell you. And then the WordPress. Okay, well the WordPress was working a while ago, but for some reason it's just decided that the backend doesn't want to work anymore. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's something which happens with WordPress, that it just decides to break on you for no reason. That's one reason why I'd avoid using it, because at least the Drupal and the Joomla, they seem to be okay. They didn't go funny on me, even when I was doing testing. But I don't know, something's up with this WordPress. So anyway, rather than wasting time trying to work out what it is, because we know how bad WordPress can be. So what I'm going to do is just go through the upgrade process. So the first thing that I have to do is Yeah, so the first thing you have to do is to log into the computer. And so if we do MySQL, so you can see it's running 5.1.73. And so the first thing we have to do is we have to dump the tables. So we've got 3 databases that we're trying to dump. So I've just got to make a little script that does that. And so I'll include this. And I think this script is from Rolando at Stack Overflow, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so what we'll do is just type this. I'll put this into a script. I mean, you could even paste it on the command line and it should work. But and so if you just run that, just using bash rather than having to, because the thing is, if you have to add the shebang and make it executable. If you just run it with bash, so that should give us the file. And so that's so all DBs, that should have a database. Yeah, so that's the database information. And so the next thing we need, so that we don't have to type the logins in manually, especially if you have a lot of users, is we have to dump the users. And so the easiest way to do that, rather than there's a way you can do it with a command, but when I've looked at the command, it's very complicated. So the easiest thing to do is to just install this utility from Percona, which there's a utility from Percona which actually will do the work for you. So just install that. So then to get the all the logins for the users, just run this next command. And now the important thing is we have to remove some user. Well, you have to remove the root user from it so it doesn't mess up when we restore it. So we've got can't use start to start. Yes, I don't know. Yes, the best bit is to get rid of any ones because we're only after those 3 users. But just get rid of any which look a bit weird. So yeah, so get rid of the one for this non-existent user. And so Drupal's okay. And Joomla's okay. So you have to get rid of root. Because what will happen is it will mess up. Yeah, so as long as so anything where you see root or a local user that isn't from one of your websites, just get rid of it. So now all we've got is just the WordPress, Joomla, and Drupal. So as long as you've got only I think this one doesn't. Well, grants. Yeah, might as well get rid of that. So make sure that the only ones in there are for your servers. And sorry, for your websites. So just Control O to save that, and Control X. So now that we have the database is backed up from the 5.1, what we now need to do is to get the installation file for the MySQL 8. So we can do that. So I'll put this link in the description. But this is just a repo for the latest MySQL 8 for CentOS 6. So what you have to do is when you get to here, you have to use the version 6 one, and you got to click on download because it takes you to this screen where they want you to give your information away. But really, all you're after is just this link. So if you just copy this link and then just paste it in, and you're just going to get it because it's easier that way. Or you could just do yum install actually. Just saves copying it to your hard drive. Right, so that's in. So now, what we do next is to install the MySQL 8. But before we do that, what we should do is go to varlib, and in there you got the MySQL directory. So if we so what will happen is if you try and run it, it'll try to do the upgrade for 5.1, and maybe it'll succeed, maybe it won't, but best bet is just not to take the risk. So just move it so you just move it to a different name, and actually I should have stopped it before I moved it, but it should be okay. Yeah, so also make sure to stop the service. And so then now, if we just do yum update, so what it's going to do is just going to install the newer files, the MySQL 8. That's a lot, isn't it? Right, so that's that installed. Now before we run it, just need to put some settings in. So now first thing is make sure that we're still using MySQL native, because if you don't, your import's not going to work. Right, and so now I've just got some settings I'm just going to put in for the InnoDB, so that it will use these settings, because you want it to do this. You want to make sure to do this before you actually start the server, so that when it creates the InnoDB files, it creates them at the size that you want. So if we just save that, so now we just start the service. So it's initializing everything. Yeah, I've noticed. What seems to happen is that this setting, you can't. I don't know why you can't put this setting in at the beginning. I'm not sure why. So when it starts up, okay, so that's up. So now you might think, oh, we can go straight in now, but no, there's a you won't actually be able to do anything until, because this is MySQL 8. You now have to get the annoying password, because it's hidden. What it's done is it's created a password and it's hidden it somewhere in the logs if you can find it. It's always on 2 lines just to make it difficult. So what you have to do is you have to go in then you have to use that password, and then now that we're in, the next thing you want to do, just to get rid of the annoyance, is another command I'll put in, and just to save time, just get rid of this, just get rid of the validate passwords component. Alright. Okay, so it's got to, so they're being clever. So you have to alter the, right, so what they've done is they're just being clever, because what happens is if you can't get rid of their annoyance until you put in a secure password. So they just want to, I suppose you could say they're just trying to be like Microsoft, where they feel that if they annoy you enough, yeah, so they feel that if they annoy you enough, then you'll become secure. But the answer is that's not how it works. So it's probably going to be stupid. Alright, let's see if it lets us get rid of the nonsense. Now notice that you don't get any history by default either. Yeah, that's one thing about the MySQL I keep forgetting. Alright, so finally we've got rid of the nonsense. So now we can go to something more sensible. That's more like it. So now we're back to the old days, like how it's supposed to be. So now that everything's back to normal, let's yeah, but even password is that's too complicated, isn't it? So let's yeah, password's too complicated, man. Let's just have nothing. That's more like it. So that's how you do proper MySQL security. So now when you just run it, you're in. So that is back to the old days, like how it's supposed to be. You don't have time for all this Microsoft and Google security where they tell you need to be secure, and they're crying like babies, saying that someone's going to break in if you don't use a complicated password. So now we have the files. So what we now have to do is to reload them back in. So if we, and now just in case I get disconnected, I'm just going to use screen. So now what we have to do is load the files which are dumped back in, because if we go to each of our sites, do a quick reload, just get an error. So Joomla, if we reload that, just get error. WordPress, just right click on something, you get error establishing database. So now we just got to get that back in MySQL 8, but at least it's trying to establish something. So now we'll just do MySQL. Now we have to do -f because there's sometimes you get some things in the dump file which just cause slight errors in version 8. So we load the database in. Okay, that loaded. But now of course they can't log in, so we also have to load the grants. Okay, yeah, I think I see what the problem is. Yeah, what's happened is the alright, what we do is we just do this the hard way. Because what's happened is that that's one of the things. Yeah, I suppose if you've got a lot of users, that could be a problem. What you have to do is you have to change the because it won't accept the passwords from 5.1 because it has to be MySQL native. That's the thing. Okay, so it turned out that you essentially, because I didn't run to do a full run beforehand, but basically because of the way they changed the password, so 5.1 uses just a standard hash, and then 5.7 uses a MySQL native password. Now, of course, MySQL 8 expects at a minimum MySQL native password, so because it's not supported in 5.1, your only option is actually you have to create each user individually, or there's a way you could patch that grant script, like to take the data out of it, and well, I don't think that would work actually. So the easiest thing to do is just to just add each user manually. Oh, actually, I think Drupal. It's just Drupal. Yeah. So first you create the user, and you have to. And with MySQL 8, you have to do it this way. So first you create the user, and then you grant the permission on the database. Right, and so now I just have to repeat that for it's very strange the way it only remembers certain things, because the history on this is a bit odd, I've noticed. So now we do the next one for So you just go through each user. So one thing's for certain, if you're going to do this from MySQL 5.1, make sure you don't have like 1,000 databases. If you got about 20, you can just about do it. But something like 100, you're going to have to do a script, which shouldn't actually be that difficult to do. You have to get all 20 of the passwords though, because you have to get them manually unless you crack them out of the database. He only wants to store the last, I don't know. Right, so that's it. So the users are in, and they should have permission on the database. So let's see what happens. So we reload, and here we go, back again. So we're back in Drupal. Let's see what it says. Well, there you go. So now database version is 8037. So we're done. So that's it. So that's official. If Drupal's working, then we know that the installation was a success. Simple as that. And the data's back. Just go. We're not getting any blue, white screens or anything like that. So that's looking good. Right. So that's back. So let's see what Drupal's saying. So sorry, Joomla. That says error. Now it says it's back as well. So that's pretty straightforward. And there's admin. It's complaining about PHP 8.1. Yeah, they was complaining. So we go to the system information. So we have it 8037. So this is on crusty old Centos 6, remember? So we successfully managed to get it up to a nice new, reasonably new MySQL version. And this is LTS as well, using an out of service CentOS 6, using the crusty old Apache, but it still works. And let's see what WordPress has to say. WordPress is back as well. So as you can see, it's pretty straightforward stuff. So apart from the user, so that's the only difficult part you have, is that you have to put the passwords in manually, unless you come up with a magic script which can convert. Well, I don't think so, because you've got the hash. See, the problem is that if you look at the see, it's right, just so identified by password. So that's password. So that's just a hash of the password. Problem is that's not a MySQL native password. So essentially, it's just a hash which is stored in the 5.1 database. So the reality of it is you're just going to have to get the original password from each database. That's your only option. Unless you're actually going to get some GPUs and run a crack on these and then put it into a script. But I'm not sure if that's worth the bother. So yeah, so obviously that's why it's important to have a list in some sort of database of the passwords for your all of your databases. So then you can go into that database, get the passwords out, put them into a script, which then uses the correct format for MySQL 8, and then it just drops the passwords in. And so that's what you'll have to do essentially. So if you're going to be migrating MySQL 5.1 direct to MySQL 8, getting the data across, that's pretty straightforward. But it's getting the passwords across. You're going to have to actually sit down and work out how you're going to do that, and make sure you've got them in an easy to get format. And of course, if necessary, you're just going to have to sit and type them all out into a spreadsheet or into CSV, so that then your scripts can pull it from the CSV and then just apply these commands once you get into the MySQL 8. And as you can see, once you've applied them commands, your sites will be back just like that, running on the new version. But of course, this WordPress is causing problems, and it's, this is WordPress after all, so you can expect it to have bugs. So what that shows you is that if you're going to do an update, if you like doing updates, you're going to have to just stick with Joomla, which seems to be resilient, or Drupal. Yeah, just stick with Drupal. So these two can seem to handle the update pretty well, but WordPress is a bit dodgy. Alright, so thanks if you were watching, if you made it this far, and I'll see if I can come out with some more of these support related videos.